Well, yep, yeah, it's recording. Right, guys, hello, good morning. It's a very bonny, bright morning here at Sissinghurst Castle Gardens. Well, actually, I'm going through the woods. Just entered the start of my talk, and I've got some lesser celandines I can see. We've got some ramsons and the last of the snowdrops. It's given me a few things to talk about at the start of the walk when I'll be getting down there. A little more on a plant focus this week. This week it will be Ulmus glutinosa, or the alder. Very, very good tree. A tree that helps you with a headache. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been here. Last week I was due to come here last Wednesday, but due to some work at work, having to make hot cross buns, I gave it a miss. Now if I turn around there, you can see they've been coppicing, and you can see the hazel sticks there. Make some walking sticks out of them. They'd be great for making dens. We've got, as I saw the other week, you've got a den bit up the road. There'll be pea sticks, plant supports, and if you look over there, you can see where they've been actually chopping the hazel down. And if you listen very carefully, you can hear the ducks. Well, it's great walking around this. The lake is looking very good. On the drive over, it was very, very foggy. I woke up this morning, looked out of the window, and we saw it was very foggy this morning. The mist is almost burnt off now. It was like smoke. I've often called it in the past dragon's breath. So here we are. Here are the lakes. Got one here, and as I pan around, we've got one over there. Now we're coming down this path here, and we've got a couple of nice trees that I highlight on my walks. We've got a beech and we've got a birch, which I use to start my tree talk part with, apart from the salix behind me. But a bit more about the willow on another video. For today's plant is going to be, as I said, the alder. Very important plant, in a very important tree in many respects. The alder itself is a pioneer species, so when there's a gap in the canopy, up pops the alder. Also, here we are, here's an alder tree. So if I pan around and pan up, right, there we go. And the alder, medieval times, they were reluctant to cut it because the sap turns red as it hits the atmosphere. So they actually thought the tree bled. The alder itself is quite an unusual tree. It's a cone-bearing broadleaf tree. At the moment, if I look up, it's a bit difficult to see with this camera, but I can see the catkins and I can see the cones. The catkins are obviously the male part of the plant, the cones are obviously the female. I'm just looking around to see if I can see any cones on the ground. Now, the tree itself has been used for charcoal making. There's a place near where I live called Powder Mill Lane, and it was made of very fine charcoal for gunpowder making. Also, particularly up in the northern part of this country, up in the lakes, up in Lake Districts, in Lancashire, Yorkshire, where they wore clogs, it was used to make the wooden sole for clogs. It's also been used to make guitar bodies. The wood and various other things. I'm stalling here. Right. Now, the reason why it's one of the few plants that is very good for treating your headaches, because the bark contains salicin as well as a certain amount of tannin, and the salicin itself turns into salicylic acid in the body, and that cures your headache. And I will be repeating this because there's quite a few plants on the site that have salicin within them, and of course salicin was the precursor to aspirin. The cones themselves, if I turn up, if I go like that, you might just be able to see the cones. Right, lovely little cones they are. The cones, very important food source for siskins and goldfinches. They can get in there and pick the seeds out. The cones and the leaves were used for making dyes, for making plant dyes, particularly a red plant dye. And of course, it's great for tanning leather because it contains a lot of tannin within the bark. So along with oaks and a few other trees, this was very good for using as a tanning source for your leather making. Good morning.
Good morning.
So there we have it. That's the Ulmus glutinosa, or alder tree. I say also you will find it in many damp places, particularly besides rivers. It's very great. It's a very good tree for keeping the banks stable. Anyway guys, that's the end of today's little talk. There might be another one in a minute as I move around, but I shall see you down the line. Bye.